So today, we're going to dive into this really powerful idea that comes from the essay When Intention Meets Participation. We're going to break down that gap. You know the one, the gap between what we want to do and what we actually end up doing. And hopefully, we can figure out how to find that sweet spot where our goals create some real forward momentum.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You feel like you're just spinning your wheels. You set a goal, you know exactly what you need to do, but you're just stuck. It's got to be one of the most common human frustrations, that disconnect between our best intentions and our daily actions. So what's really going on there?
And you know, this isn't just some small, everyday annoyance. It's a really profound challenge. This insight, which comes from the experience of a treatment center, just nails it. One of the most difficult parts of recovery is handling the disconnect between intentions and actions. That struggle is at the very heart of any journey of change, whether we're talking about our health, our career, or our personal growth.
All right, so to really get a handle on this, we've got to start with our internal guidance system. I want you to think of it like a compass, and that compass, that's our intention.
Now, I want you to really notice that phrase, active ingredient. That's the key. It's what separates a true, genuine intention from, just wishful thinking. It's not, oh, I hope I get in shape someday. No, it's a focused, deliberate decision. It's that conscious choice that actually gives our journey direction and a real sense of purpose.
So what turns a flimsy wish into a rock-solid intention? Well, drawing from some core psychological principles, it really boils down to clarity and connection. A strong intention is super clear and specific. It's deeply rooted in what you truly value, and, this is crucial, it gives you a sense of control, of autonomy over your own path.
Okay, so a compass is great. It tells you where to go, but it doesn't do the walking for you, right? That brings us to the second piece of this puzzle, the path. This is our participation. This is where that commitment hits the pavement.
And just like before, that word active is so important here. Participation isn't just passively showing up, walking into the gym or opening a textbook. It's engaged involvement. It's doing the exercises with focus. It's reading the words with purpose. It's your intention made real through your behavior. Now, it's really important to get this. Participation isn't like a light switch, on or off. It's a whole spectrum. On one end, you might be minimally engaged, kind of just going through the motions. But on the far other end, your participation can be truly transformative, where you're not just doing the work, you're actually making it a part of who you are. The goal is to always be trying to move up that spectrum. So let's pull all this together and look at them side by side. Intention is your compass. It's your internal why, the thing that gives you direction. Participation is the path. It's your external how, the actions that create momentum. And you absolutely 100% need both. One without the other, that's the classic recipe for either frustration or just aimless, wasted effort. Okay, so what actually happens when you get this right? When your compass points true north and your feet are walking firmly on that path? Well, you create this incredibly powerful, self-reinforcing engine for progress. This is that virtuous cycle in action. And just look at how it feeds on itself. Your clear intention helps you take effective action. Then, when you start seeing positive results from that action, it reinforces your belief that, hey, I can actually do this, which in turn makes your intention even stronger. It becomes this amazing, powerful upward spiral. And as that engine gets going, it starts producing some pretty amazing outcomes. Your self-efficacy, which is really just your belief in your own ability to succeed, it skyrockets. You start building real skills and habits that become second nature, and you gain this incredible insight into your own patterns. This is how real, sustainable change is actually built. But okay, does this synergy, does it actually work in the real world? Well, the data is pretty compelling. In the incredibly tough field of substance use recovery, the source essay highlights this number, 75%. That's roughly the percentage of people who seek recovery and eventually achieve it. That isn't just luck. That's the raw power of a committed intention fueling consistent, active participation. But of course, we all know it's not that simple. If it were that easy, we'd all be hitting every single goal we set. The reality is, the path is often blocked by some very real barriers that can throw our compass and our journey way out of alignment.
First up, you've got the battles we're fighting inside our own heads. Things like the fear of failure, or even, weirdly enough, the fear of what success might mean for us. And that little voice in our head, that constant negative self-talk, it can totally erode our intention before we even take the first step on the path.
And then, of course, you've got all the roadblocks out there in the world. A lack of support from the people around you, the very real challenges of cost and access to help, or maybe just being in an environment that's full of triggers that constantly pull you off course. These things can make participation feel next to impossible, no matter how strong your intention is.
So here's the bottom line. Just knowing about the cycle isn't enough, right? We need a practical toolkit. We need actual tools to navigate these barriers and actively build a bridge over that gap between our intention and our participation.
So here it is. This is your toolkit for getting things aligned. We're talking about things like self-compassion to fight back against that inner critic, mindfulness to create that tiny bit of space between a trigger and your reaction, building a real support system for encouragement and accountability, and developing emotional regulation skills so that one bad day doesn't completely derail your entire journey. These are the tools that keep the compass and the path lined up.
So, we'll leave you with this one question, and I want you to forget about the giant, overwhelming picture for just a second. Just think about today. Looking at your biggest intention, your compass, what is one small, tangible action, one single step you can take right now to get your feet moving on that path? Because really, that's where all meaningful change begins.